But, you know, once you all wake up to the genius that is Negan, I'm just gonna fucking laugh at you all. I'm gonna laugh so fucking hard because I've been here the whole fucking time rooting for this son of a bitch, and y'all have been giving me shit for it the whole time. And you wait, there's gonna come a time when y'all are gonna worship the ground this motherfucker walks on, and I don't wanna hear shit from anybody, okay? Because I was here first.
Okay, what's up, guys? I felt compelled to make a video talking about this particular topic because I feel like I need to. For one thing, I get comments daily asking me what happened, why do I all of a sudden hate Negan, what went on, like what's the, you know, or just generally, you know, how I feel about the changes that were made to the to Negan's arc from the comics to the show. First things first, first thing that I want to talk about before I get into the Negan stuff and all the comparisons and all the things that I want to talk about, and kind of how I feel when it comes to my opinion, because at the end of the day, all these things are opinions about a fictional TV show and fictional characters. You know, it's fine to be passionate about it, but there's a fine line between being passionate and being an asshole, and some of you guys have just went way over that line. On episode 12, my video for that episode, because I did disable them, that was the episode where Negan kills Alpha. And then everybody was like, what happened? Like, why did you shut the comments down on this video? Like, what exactly went on? And it's a very simple explanation, but here's the thing. I've been on this platform for quite some time. And I've had this particular channel, it used to be Opsa Friendly, now it's just shady. I've had this platform for a long time. I've been here for a long ass time. And I think people seem to forget that sometimes. Like, I didn't just pop up. Like, I've been here. And I've seen a lot of things over the years since I opened this channel. And you know, anytime you put yourself out there on the internet, you're kind of, you know, opening yourself up to everything. And I understand that, you know, and you know, it is what it is. However, that doesn't excuse a lot of stuff, you know, and for many years that I've been on this platform, I just let people say whatever they want. Whether I should have let them or not, I just let them, because I was like, you know, well, I'm just gonna let people do whatever. I'm not gonna, you know, I like hardly ever defend myself. I just let people say and do whatever they want and call it a day and keep it pushing. But this was one of those times when I just couldn't really do that, because my typical routine with these videos is that I, you know, shoot the video, I edit it, I upload it, and then for like the first couple of hours after it's put out, I kind of like hang around on YouTube just so that I can, you know, keep up with some of the comments coming in, you know, reply to people or like comments or whatever. It's love them these days, you like heart them. But you know, and then I go to sleep, and then I check it again in the morning, see how everything is going, and then that's that. And so with episode 12, even before I went to sleep that night, I kind of noticed the comments kind of trending in a certain direction. And I understand, like, pretty much the entire time that I've made videos, my opinion has been drastically different from the majority. That's just how it's always been for some, I don't know. It just typically has. And there's always been differing opinions, and it is what it is. But there's been times that those opinions, like I said, about a fictional show and a fictional character have gotten taken too far. And you know, it's not just me that people attack either, it's other people in the comment section. And the thing is that I don't tolerate that kind of stuff. You know, like, if you want to give your opinion, that's fine, but the minute you start to get disrespectful, hateful, downright vile, attacking people, making fun of them for something that they can't control, insulting someone's intelligence, slut shaming, people love to do that to me, like that is not going to be tolerated. Because a thing that I think a lot of people seem to forget, this is my platform, and if I feel like you shouldn't be able to speak like that, then I'm not going to let you speak like that. See, that's how that works. I have the power to disable the comments if I so wish to do that. And that's exactly what I fucking did, because that's what I felt was the best for everybody in the end. Because I can only be poked and prodded at so much before I snap. And the reason why I disabled those comments wasn't really to protect me or anybody else. It was to protect you all that decided to cross that line. Because when I come back at people, I come back at you hard, okay? And I'm gonna hurt your feelings real bad. And I didn't want to do that, because that's a bad look. I don't want to be that girl on the internet that's attacking everybody. But you know what? Once you attack me so many times, I'm only going, the natural human response is to defend yourself. And me, I kind of have a certain attitude about me anyway, and especially if I'm angry, it's really not pleasant. So I shut that comment section down because of that reason. Because people were crossing the line from just giving their opinion. Like, you know, opinions, like I said, that's fine. But the minute you cross that line, that's it. It's game over. Either I'm gonna shut the shit down completely, or I'm gonna hurt your feelings. So I was trying to do everybody else a favor by just eliminating the threat. And that's why I did that. Listen, I've had plenty of people, I've been compared to a Nazi on this channel. I literally had a guy that compared me and Negan to Hitler and his girlfriend. And there was another guy who, under every single video I made, he used to comment about how he wanted to kill me. And he would like full on write the torture porn out in a comment about how he would kill me. He particularly loved the idea of cutting my throat open and like watching me bleed to death, which is lovely to read. Just if you didn't know that, it's just great to see somebody, you know, wish death on you and tell you exactly how they'd kill you if they could get their hands on you. I mean, wonderful, honestly. Yeah, I hope that explains that. And, you know, I like I said, I don't want to be negative here. I'm not trying to be. But I'm only going to put up with so much before I won't put up with it at all. Okay? I need to talk about this whole Negan thing. Because people they just can't seem to comprehend why I'm upset. And I don't understand why people don't understand why I'm upset. Like, I think it's pretty, like, cut and dry, pretty fucking in your face, if I'm honest here. Like, I don't know why people are having such a difficult time understanding why somebody like me would be bothered by what they're doing to Negan. First of all, in case you weren't aware, I have been a Negan fan since literally the minute he walked onto the comic panels. I read the comics long before I ever watched the show, and I was reading the comics before Negan was even in the comics. So I was already reading them by the time that he made his very first appearance. I loved him immediately. Always have, always will, okay? And this is the thing, like, with a lot of you TV viewers that always want to try to talk to me about Negan like you know more than me about Negan, I think you don't understand who exactly you're talking to here. Because I've been around since day fucking one. I was around in the Negan fandom when there wasn't a Negan fandom. There were no t-shirts, there were no action figures, there was nobody posting about him on the internet. There were no communities where there were, you know, like, people, every now and again, you might see, like, one Tumblr post where, like, somebody who read the comics would talk about Negan, and they would, like, barely mention him. Like, Negan was not everywhere because he was only known by the comic audience, which has never really been super huge. It's always been a pretty tight-knit community, and not a whole lot of people knew them and read them and blah blah blah, whatever. So I've been a fan of Negan since before anybody even knew who he was, okay? And right about now, I wish I could go back to that time when nobody knew who he was. Because now that they've taken him and put him in this show, and these millions and millions of people suddenly just think that they know all that there is to know about him, and that's all, you know, people are blah blah blah, they want to make their comparisons, they want to do this and that. It's that thing where, like, the thing that you love becomes really popular, but it's not, but then when it becomes popular, like, it changes all of a sudden, you know? Like, I'll always love Comic Negan. Comic Negan to me is the only Negan that there is. It's really the only version of Negan that I acknowledge at this point, is Comic Negan. That's who Negan is. That's who he's always been. That's where he came from. That's what he looks like. That's all of that. That is who he is. And that is the man that I love. And all of that. I do love him. But I just, like, that's the character that I know and love, is Comic Negan. Just for everybody who likes to try to act like they know all when it comes to Negan, fucking remember who you're talking to, alright? Let's just respect the room, okay? Let's just respect the room. Remember who you're fucking talking to when you want to get some backbone on you about Negan. Before I lead into the rest of this, I'm going to say this right now, because this is the main argument that people like to use whenever I start to talk about these things. They like to pull the whole, the show and the comics are two different things. On what fucking planet, bitch? On what fucking planet are they two different things? People try to act like this TV show is nothing like the comic books at all. You dead fucking wrong, bitch. That's not accurate at all. The show, The Walking Dead, is based on the comic series, The Walking Dead. And you know, when you have 99.9 fucking % of your characters that are taken straight from those books, they all have the same names as the ones in the books, they dress like the characters in the books, sometimes, they, you know, and pretty much every major and sometimes even minor storyline that you put in the show is ripped straight from the books. What do you mean they're two different things? No. 'Cause see, people want to have that argument as soon as it doesn't fit their narrative anymore. Because see, I've been going on about this whole Negan thing for a while because I've felt that the TV show likes to adapt more comic Negan things when it's suitable, but any other time they want to make him so out of character that it's not even the same person anymore. And that's my issue that I'm having here. But, you know, as soon as I try to make that argument, they're two different things. No, they're not. Okay, so why don't you stop using that argument here? Because that just really doesn't work. It really doesn't. Really doesn't. No, they're not two different things. They're the same thing. Does the show like to change things because they think it's going to make it better? Sure, but they fuck it up every time and it makes it awful. So are they, you know, like that? But they're not changing it drastically enough for it to be different. Like, it's still the same shit, you know? And that seems to be like the problem that I take with the show a lot. Like, they want to adapt the comic stuff, but they don't want to keep it the way it was, even though it's perfectly fine that way and good. And we all liked it the way that it was. No, they want to take it and like completely fuck it up for some reason. And this is the thing. I've always made it perfectly perfectly crystal fucking clear that I will not kiss this show's ass for anything. If it does something that I don't like, I'm gonna call it out on it, just like I would in the comic books. It's the same thing. If they do something I don't like, then I'm gonna say it. Or if they're doing something that I don't think is as good as everybody else is trying to act like it is, then I'm gonna say it. And if you don't share that opinion, like I said, that's fine. You can have that opinion, as long as you're respectful about it. But that's my issue here. The character of Negan, like I said, we all know how I feel about him. Now, when it comes to this story, and I'm literally only, listen, I could make a fucking 3-hour-long video talking about all the things that they've changed when it comes to Negan that I hate. But I'm not going to do that. I'm solely going to focus on him and Alpha in this video. That whole or just him with the Whisperers in general, is all I'm going to talk about in this. Like I said, I could make a whole other thing for hours worth of footage of me just sitting here complaining about the changes that they made to Negan in the TV show, because I'm pretty upset about most of it. If you don't read the comic books, that's fine. But you're talking to somebody who does, okay? And for the most part, with the exception of, like, there's some characters missing that were in the comic books during this arc that obviously aren't there now, like Rick being the main one. Carl, because that Carl is the one who kind of got the whole thing with Liv. Rick was still alive and well and leading Alexandria in the comics at this point in time. So I understand that with the absence of some characters, it's not going to be like a carbon copy. Obviously they can't have Rick and Carl there, but you know what you can do? You can substitute Rick and Carl with other characters, which they did substitute Carl kind of with Henry, and then they immediately killed Henry after that, which, I'm gonna get into all that, but just whatever, that made no sense. So, and with Rick, like I said, Rick isn't there anymore, but guess what? Then you put somebody else in his place then. You don't change the whole thing just because Rick is not there. You substitute Rick with somebody else, right? So, like, because Negan breaks out of jail and he wants to prove to Rick, listen, I'm going to prove to you you can trust me, you have my loyalty, and I'm going to show you that you can let me go by doing this for you, because he knows that the Whisperers are a threat, and he thinks, all right, if I can get out of here and I can eliminate at least some part of that threat, I can get some trust here and I can get out of that cell. So that's what he does. Okay. So he goes to the Whisperer camp and infiltrates it, but not to show that he is, you know, got any, like, you know, ill intentions or anything. But he gets the job done. He kills Alpha and he takes her head back to Rick. And it's like, here you go. And then all the people of Alexandria, Rick, everybody can see, oh, Negan did this for us. In the show, her head, fucking Beta took off with it to go fuck it somewhere. Like, literally, her head is just gone, so there's no proof for Negan now. So that's just wonderful. When it comes to Negan and Alpha, because this is where people want to start getting all philosophical and all this kind of shit. First of all, you don't need to do that. Because, and this is why I'm angry about all this. Because there was literally no fucking reason to do anything that they did with that story. Like, him fucking Alpha, them sleeping together, him feeling bad because he has to kill her, this whole thing with the... None of that needed to happen. Literally, none of it. None of it had to happen. There was no reason for any of that to happen. None. Not one reason why that had to happen. You know what? If you would have just kept it like the books, it still would have had the exact same impact. It would have been, well, I mean, it would have been different because it wouldn't have been fucked up and completely out of character for him. I don't see why people can't understand that what he did was not in character of Negan. That is not what he comic Negan would never, and I'm just gonna keep saying that, Comic Negan would never, because this woman, he hates people like her. That's what I don't understand about the whole thing. Like, Negan hates people like her. She's a fucking child abuser. And even though this show completely just conveniently left out the part that she also allows rape, which, just a quick point that I would like to note here, I find it interesting that the show left out the part that Alpha and the Whisperers allow rape, but then made TV Negan look like a rapist because the wives in the show clearly hated him and didn't seem to want to consent to anything, which that was all wrong. So like, why did you fuck this up but then make these people look better? Negan is the one who's all about consent here, and then they just leave out the part. And Negan's all about consent and kills people for even thinking about raping somebody. But in the show they made him look like one. Like, y'all made that line real fucking blurred, okay? Like, real blurred. Like, Amber is fucking getting drunk every day because she hates everything. The other ones are, like, plotting to kill him. Like, this never happened. And why is it happening? But then these people actually rape and assault people, and we're just gonna conveniently leave that out? Okay? Sure! Why not? That's the thing. You can make it clear that this is who these people are without having to show it. I'm not saying that they had to show Lydia, that young actress, that cutie pie. We didn't have to see anything happen to her, but you can make it clear that it did. Use your fucking words, your actors, your writers. Where the fuck... Is it just go out the window if you can't, like, show it in a way? Like, I don't get that. Like, why did you do that? But anyway... So in the comics, Negan very clearly hates this woman because she allows the one thing and is like accepting of the thing that he hates the most. So he has no good feelings towards Alpha at all. Okay? He never slept with her, never even thought about it, never looked at her that way. He like made some like comments because it's Negan, but that's just who he is. But like he didn't mean anything by him, and he didn't. Like, a lot of people keep wanting to bring up the philosophical, she reminded him of Lucille. That is how he would look at you. Literally. Okay. Lucille was bald because she had chemo treatments from her cancer. Alpha is bald because she's a fucking weirdo who decided to shave her head for she had a fucking, like, Britney Spears moment and shaved her head off. But, that's the thing, you see, you can't say that when it comes to TV Negan and try to make it make sense and be all philosophical when Comic Negan had the same wife who died the same way and didn't look at Alpha and think, oh, Lucille, she looks like Lucille, I'm gonna feel bad about this, even though she's a terrible person. No. You see, I'm not going to let you all do that to Lucille. I'm not going to let you do that to Lucille. Because you know what? Negan was, is, and always will be an asshole. He was a terrible husband. He cheated on that woman while she was dying of cancer. Why he thinks he has the right to still talk about her at all is beyond me. I mean, I don't think Negan has the right to say anything about Lucille. Like, the way that he did her was horrendous. TV Negan, Comic Negan, whatever, Negan in general, not a good husband. He should have never gotten married, if you want to ask, if you ask my opinion. But to say that, to try to justify the way that these people have written this by saying, oh, he saw Lucille when he looked at Alpha. Bitch, if you don't, I think that makes me angrier than anything. Like, the fact that anybody would even compare Alpha to Lucille, I don't think you all understand exactly what you're doing. Like, you don't do that. And Negan wouldn't do that. Like I said, Comic Negan did not see Lucille when he looked at Alpha. He's like, oh yeah, bald head. And that was that. And he didn't even address her bald head. He was just like, yeah, but like, and he did... this is the other thing. The fact that TV Negan stood there and told her about Lucille. TV Negan needs to shut his mouth when it comes to Lucille. I'm tired of him walking around telling everybody about Lucille. His whole speech that he made to Alpha in the woods, both in the TV version and comic version, but in the TV version specifically, is immediately invalidated then. Because he's trying to act like he's so heartless and he doesn't care and he's dead to the world and I don't give a fuck about anybody. Well, that doesn't really make any sense now, does it? Because you have this whole thing going on with Judith, now you have this whole thing going on with Lydia, and you're looking like you're feeling pretty bad about having to kill Alpha. Looks to me like you got a heart, buddy, so why are you so upset? Whereas this one, cold, man. He makes it clear, like, I don't get attached to people. I don't love people. I don't want none of that. Because that's not who I am anymore. And he didn't feel bad about killing Alpha. He doesn't feel bad about killing pretty much anybody most of the time. Because that's who he is. Whereas TV Negan, he says he's like that. That's what that whole speech was about. You're just pretending, but I'm not. Well, buddy, yeah, it looks like you are actually. Which, I mean, like I said, I'm not getting into all that, but I don't like his whole thing with Lydia and Judith either. I think Negan needs to do what he did. I don't know why they are struggling so much with just trying to keep him more accurate to his comic counterpart. Because that's who he's supposed to be. Why are you trying to change him so much to fit whatever family-friendly, whatever narrative that you got going on in the show? That's not who Negan is. Stop trying to conform him to your idea of what you think he should be, because you're changing him from who he really is to what you think he ought to be. And it's not right. And it's not good. And people like me kind of fucking hate it. So, all in all, that's why I'm bothered. I could go on a lot longer than that, and I've probably gone on for half an hour. But you all can't expect me to not watch this show and compare it to the comic books and compare it to things that happen there and compare characters to... You can't expect me not to do that. Because guess what? I'm going to. Because it's my channel. I watch the show how I watch it. You're talking to a comic reader. I'm always going to think about the comics first. That's just how things work. And like I said, you want to have your opinion. If you think this show is the greatest thing that ever was and they can't do anything wrong, good for you, man. But that's not me. And like I said, if you can be respectful about things, then good on you, man. Good for you. I'm proud of you for being a decent fucking human being. But if you can't be, just keep it shut and keep it pushing, or I will shut you up one way or the other. So, I'm sweating because I'm so hot and I'm so angry. Like, I genuinely get so pissed off even like thinking about any of this. I'm just so infuriated. Like I said, I don't know that it would be a good idea for me to do a video talking about the show in general and how I feel about it, because honestly, I don't feel that positive about it. And, you know, people seem to be ass-kissing this show now more than ever. And, you know, we've seen what happens when I give my opinions. So